Casio makes a ton of digital watches, but only a select few can be seen on the silver screen. The DW290 is featured prominently in Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible film. Thankfully, it's not impossible for you to get this one on your wrist. What's good, bro? I'm Louis Gusto. Welcome back to another watch review. Make sure you subscribe for more watch and style content. We're trying to get to 300 subscribers, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Today, we're taking a look at this bad boy. It's the Casio DW290. Let me know in the comments if you own this watch. And now let's get into it. The Casio DW290-1V retails for $54.95, though you can find it much cheaper on Amazon, and I will have an affiliate link in description in case you want to pick this one up after the review. It comes in standard Casio watch packaging. That's a black plastic watch stand inside of a blue paperboard box with a white Casio slipcover. No Tom Cruise face, no Mission Impossible word mark, nothing like that that shows any affiliation with that film. Maybe back in the day when they first released this watch, it had some kind of Mission Impossible branding to go with it. Let me know in the comments if you know anything about that. Before we get into the features and how I feel about this particular watch, let's talk a little bit about the DW290 materials. As you can see, it's pretty much a black resin watch. It's a resin case, a resin strap, and a resin pin and buckle closure. The resin does stop there though, because you do have a mineral glass above that LCD screen, which is a little bit of a step up from the typical resin glass you see on other Casio watches around this price point. And it's got a stainless steel screw down case back. As far as I can see, there are no other colors available for the DW290, though I think that would be pretty sick in a yellow or red color. The DW290 measures 50.6 millimeters lug to lug. It has a case width of 46.8 millimeters, a case thickness of 14.3 millimeters, and the watch weighs 56 grams. The watch crystal is made from a mineral glass, which is a step up from standard resin glass found on many other Casio digital watches. It's got 4 silver metal buttons, 2 on either side of the case, 3 protruding from the case, and 1 essentially flush with the case. Now let's take a closer look at the hexagonal face of the DW290. Of course, you got that black resin color with teal lettering popping out from that face, indicating the various features of the watch. So you're walking around basically advertising what your watch can do. Water resist, 200 meters, electroluminescence, and illuminator can all be found on the watch case and strap, and those teal letters really seem to pop from that black. Taking a closer look at the face itself, you got the panel cover in black with a red outline, lots of branding and function labeling. Alarm chronograph, you got the Casio word mark, another electroluminescence indicator. All 4 buttons are labeled. And taking a closer look at the LCD screen below that, it's very readable and it's essentially split into 2 parts. On the top, you got the day of the week, the month and day. Below that, the time of day. Of course, it's a digital watch, right? You want that time of day. You can see it in 12 or 24-hour mode, and essentially splitting that LCD screen in half, you've got various functions like alarm, signal, and the little LCD indicators as to whether or not those features are turned on or not. There's a lot going on this hexagonal case and face, but I still think it's very readable and it looks pretty cool. However, I would definitely love to see a special edition of this watch with fewer lettering on the case and strap. All right, now let's take a look at how the Casio DW290 looks on my 7.5-inch wrist. It's time to talk about the features of this digital watch. Right off the bat, I'm gonna say there's no world time, which kind of doesn't make sense for a watch featured in Mission Impossible. You'd think Tom Cruise's character would want to know the various times around the world at a glance on his wrist. Unfortunately, it doesn't have that. However, it does have most of the other digital watch features that you can find on pretty much any Casio or G-Shock watch. You've got a multifunction alarm. That's very handy. It has a flash alert, hourly chime signal, of course, main timekeeping mode with the full auto calendar up to 2099. You got plus or minus 15 seconds of accuracy, which is always a great thing. You can display that time in 12 or 24-hour mode. Right now, I happen to be going with the 12-hour mode, though that's not my usual. You've got a stopwatch with lap functionality, a countdown timer with repeatability. The flash alert is very handy on that countdown timer and the alarm. Note that in both stopwatch and countdown timer modes, you can still see the time of the day. It's featured in the upper right-hand portion of the LCD screen. And of course, the cherry on top of that feature sundae is the electroluminescent backlight, which is absolutely beautiful. It's a bluish green color, looks amazing in low light. It's very reminiscent of the G-Shock electroluminescent backlight, and it's just just a thing of beauty. It's mentioned to you 3 times, yes, 3 times on the watch face and screen. So just in case you forget that it has that feature, just push this little button here in the dark and you'll be able to see the time. It's not like the F91W with that little pathetic light coming in from the left side. Now that we got the materials, measurements, and features out of the way, I'm gonna talk about how I feel about the DW290 digital watch made by Casio. First, let's rewind a little bit. Casio was founded in 1946 and released their first timepiece in 1974, but the DW290 is very much a product of the late 1990s, as evidenced by this beautiful and unique design. Some people are gonna love it, some people are gonna hate it. And myself, I fall on the side of the fence that absolutely loves this digital watch. It's got a very unique face, some cool functionality, even though it doesn't have world time, which I mentioned earlier. It is lightweight, but feels substantial on your wrist. It's basically the closest you can get to a G-Shock watch without actually purchasing a G-Shock watch. So it's gonna be a little bit less expensive. Now, of course, it's not gonna have that shock resist feature. So if you do, fall off the balcony or drop this watch out of a helicopter, it may not survive. Of course, if you want that functionality, then just pay the extra 20 bucks for the entry-level G-Shock model. Like I mentioned before on this channel, my watch journey began in October 2023 when I sold my Apple Watch and picked up a Casio F91W. I reviewed that watch on the channel and I don't find myself wearing it as much as I was last year. I knew that was gonna happen once I started collecting digital and analog watches because there's just so many fun timepieces to own and, certain watches go with certain outfits and certain lifestyle situations. You know the deal. Speaking of the F91W, it's a great iconic watch that is lacking a little bit in the feature department, and it's not exactly a statement piece. A few months ago, my father visited New York City. We went out for dinner and I showed him my Casio F91W and he was kind of like, that watch is way too small for your wrists. And I can understand. I didn't share any context about the watch and how iconic it was or how it was starting on my watch journey. I know that with the DW290, he would not have the same thing to say. It's a bigger size, the case is nice and wide, it's got a cool, unique shape, and it's got a lot better functionality, starting with that electroluminescent backlight. And the jump in price from the F91W to the DW290, it really isn't that much, to be honest. It's really dope that it was featured in a Mission Impossible movie. Unlike the Casio Royale, which is kind of inspired by a watch that appeared in a movie, this is the real deal. Even though there's no Tom Cruise on the watch or strap or the box or anything, it's still pretty cool to watch that movie and see this watch in action. Before this review, I've been rocking this watch for the past couple of weeks just to get a better feel for it, and I really enjoy it. I wasn't sure that I would, but it's definitely something that meshes well with my lifestyle. On a day-to-day basis, I'm editing videos, I'm going to the gym, I'm walking my dog, doing groceries. On the weekends, I film for my travel and food channel, which I'll have linked below. And this is a good watch for all those purposes. Now, it's not gonna be super upscale, it's not like a cool, unique color that's gonna stand out, but it's a serviceable watch. I didn't think that I would enjoy wearing it to the gym, but I tried that a couple of times and it works. That countdown timer with the flash alert feature really helps me to measure my rest periods in between sets. And I think it just looks cool with my gym outfits. I wouldn't dress this watch up. I wouldn't wear it for a first date or a job interview or maybe meeting your girl's parents. But in many other lifestyle situations, I think it's an appropriate watch. It's fun to wear, it's a cool conversation starter. If you happen to run into any other watch enthusiasts, you can definitely talk about this watch. This is one that I have not seen other people wearing. Unlike the F91W and the A158, A168, I've not really seen anybody else rocking this watch around New York City. And I think that kind of speaks to the uniqueness of this watch and the fact that you either love it or you hate it. It's a comfortable, lightweight watch. It's not gonna be too heavy or pushing into your wrist or anything like that. The buttons are easy to press. Unlike the entry-level G-Shock that we talked about, this adjust button is not difficult to press. I don't have to dig my fingernail into it. And the rest of the buttons, I really love how they're laid out. Now, they're not exactly springs, although it does appear to be so, but they're still very easy to press. On the con side, I would say it lacks features. For example, there's no world time functionality on this watch, which seems like a huge miss to me. It's not exactly an upscale watch. It still kind of looks cheap, unfortunately. That's just the nature of a watch like this. Obviously, no heart rate, no special screens like that, no moon phase. That's really just nitpicking. At this price point, I think it's a solid watch to add to your collection, especially if you're a Tom Cruise fan. Also, you can't get it in any other colorway. No yellows, no blues, no reds. As far as I've seen, I haven't been able to find any special edition of this watch, but it's still readily available, so you can pick one up on Amazon or Casio or whatever. Like I said, I will have a link in the description below, and that link helps to support the channel, which I appreciate. Any support that you can give. Make sure you like this video and drop a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Casio DW290. Would really love to talk with y'all in the comments below. I will see you in the next video. Peace out, bro. What's good, bro? I'm Louis Gusto, and today I'll be reviewing the Casio A158. The Casio A158WA-1 retails for $22.95 and comes in standard Casio watch packaging. That's a black plastic watch stand inside of a blue paperboard box with a white paperboard slipcover, all with Casio branding. The case is made from a chrome-plated resin and the strap is stainless steel, complete with an adjustable clasp. The A158 measures 36.8 millimeters lug to lug. It has a case width of 33.2 millimeters and the case is 8.2 millimeters thick. The watch weighs 46 grams. The case has 3 buttons and the crystal is made from resin glass. The watch face is black with a blue outline. Started in the upper left, you got the Casio word mark. Next to that, alarm and chrono. Below that, the buttons are labeled light/lap reset, mode, and start/stop/12/24 hours, lithium indicating the battery. On the LCD screen, you've got the alarm and signal notification, whether or not you're in 24-hour mode, the day, the date, as well as the time. And finally, at the bottom of the face, water resist with the WR logo in red. The Casio A158 is water resistant. It features an alarm function. It has a countdown timer as well as a stopwatch, an hourly chime, and a full auto calendar set to 28 days for February. Now that we have the technical information out of the way, let's check out how the A158 looks on the wrist. I recently picked up the A158 and wore it for a day around New York City, eating some of the best pastrami sandwiches. What I really like about this watch is it's essentially an F91W made of metal. So you can dress it up. It doesn't look cheap, even though the price tag is pretty low. And because of that low price tag, you don't have to worry about getting it scratched or banging it into anything. I think the stainless steel band looks great. I had to adjust it a little bit tighter for my 7¼ inch wrist. It's water resistant, so you could do the dishes. I wouldn't hop in the shower or go to the gym wearing this watch, obviously, but if I got caught in a rainstorm, I wouldn't be stressed about it. You could dress it up or down depending on the occasion. There's also a gold variation of this watch. I enjoy the retro charm. On the con side, it does have a very weak backlight, and at the end of the day, it's a cheap watch. You're not gonna pass this off as something fancy or look rich by rocking this on your wrist. I think similar to the F91W, this is a type of watch that is a conversation starter, and like many of the Casio watches, it's an inexpensive way to get into watch collecting. As always, I have an affiliate link in case you wanna pick one up for yourself, and I will see you next time. Peace. This is perhaps Casio's most iconic retro digital watch, but is it worth adding to your collection? Let's find out. What's good, bro? I'm Louis Gusto. Welcome back to another watch review. Today we're checking out this bad boy. It's the Casio A168 in the silver tone. We'll be looking at the measurements, materials, and how I feel about this digital watch. But before we get into any of that, make sure you finesse that like button and subscribe for more content just like this, and drop a comment below if you own this watch. In case you want to add it to your collection, I will have an affiliate link in the description below. The Casio A168W-1 is part of the vintage collection. It retails for $29.95 and comes in standard Casio watch packaging. That's a white paperboard slipcover over a blue paperboard box with Casio word mark. Inside you'll find the watch on a black plastic watch stand with Casio label and of course, the instruction manual. The Casio A168 comes in a variety of options. This particular model is a chrome-plated resin case, a stainless steel band with adjustable clasp, and resin glass crystal. The A168 measures 38.6 millimeters lug to lug. It's got a case width of 36.3 millimeters, a case thickness of 9.6 millimeters, and the watch weighs 50 grams. Like I mentioned, the watch crystal is made from a resin glass and it has 3 buttons, aka pushers, 2 on the left side of the case and 1 on the right side. And now let's take a closer look at the watch face. Beneath that resin glass, you've got a great LCD screen complete with the time display. There's also the day, date, and the icons for the various functions. Surrounding that LCD screen, there's a black dial with a white and a blue outline that trace the shape of the case. Besides that, there are a lot of words on this face. The Casio word mark, electroluminescence, water resist with the WR logo, illuminator. All the buttons are labeled, mode, start/stop, light, and you've also got the functions, alarm, and chrono. With all the words going on this watch face, there is absolutely zero need to ever bust out the instruction manual. Now let's take a look at the features of the A168. Pretty standard in terms of retro digital watches, regular timekeeping mode in 12 and 24-hour mode, a full auto calendar, daily alarm, hourly chime, a stopwatch with various features like first and second place, and of course that electroluminescent backlight. Now that we got the tech specs out of the way, let's check out how the Casio A168 looks on my 7.5-inch wrist. So where do we begin with one of the most iconic, classic retro digital watches from a brand that's synonymous with affordable timepieces? Well, simply put, the Casio A168 is one of the watches that you kind of have to have in your collection. That is, of course, unless you have the A158 and the 168 is just a little too big for you. In case you're deciding between the A158 and the A168, I have an entire separate video comparing these two models. For now, we'll take a look at the A168 on its own. We'll start with the price tag. It retails for $29.95, but you can frequently find it for cheaper than that, and I will have an affiliate link in the description in case you want to add it to your collection. It's a lightweight, thin watch. It wears very small on my 7.5-inch wrist. It's got an adjustable stainless steel band that feels good, not super heavy. It will fit to your wrist. It may take some trial and error. You gotta lift up a metal flap, slide it, and then close it back. So it may take you 1 or 2 tries. I did get it on the first try, but hey, you know, I guess I'm good with the watches. This is one of the flagship models in the Casio digital watch line. It's part of their vintage collection, and it comes in a variety of colors. One of the things I will say that's my biggest knock against this watch, other than the fact that it's a little small for my wrist and lacks some functionality, it's a good, affordable watch that you're gonna see pretty much everywhere. Just going about my business in New York City, I see so many people rocking either the 158 or the 168 from Casio. That's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but it is kind of annoying when you're wearing a watch that you think looks cool and then you run into 2 or 3 people who have the same exact watch. That's why I appreciate that Casio has quite a few varieties, including an Uno collaboration. Yes, the classic card game from Mattel, Uno, you know, draw 4, wild card and all that stuff. You can pick up an A168 that's Uno themed. Pretty cool. It is $100 though, so you know, depending on how much you love that old school card game, hey, it's up to you, I guess. The watch is water resistant. It does have resin glass, which is susceptible to scratches, so I wouldn't put it through the ringer. Although I'm sure it would stand up to the gym, it's not something I would wear. I don't want to break it or scratch up the screen. Like I mentioned, this is a legendary model in the Casio line of watches. It's got the standard functionality like stopwatch, daily alarm, and let me say, those digital watch alarms, they're not super loud, but they do wake me up in the morning, so that's a good thing. In case the hourly chime annoys you, you can turn that off. These are accurate watches. You kind of set them once, and you may have to set them every couple of months or so to just adjust the seconds, but they're pretty good. The A168 is a great starter watch if you're just now getting into watch collecting and you want something that's retro, that's digital, that's not gonna break the bank or tear apart your wallet. The A168 would be a good one for you. It also makes a great gift, especially in those variety of colors. Maybe somebody that you know is a watch collector and they have the silver and the gold already, but they don't have the Uno model. As far as this being a very common and popular watch, that's probably the reason that I don't love it as much. In addition, it's not made from the best of materials. It doesn't have all the functionality, but it's a popular watch for a reason. That $29.95 price tag, the good functionality, the great light, and of course that adjustable stainless steel bracelet means that it's gonna be a good solid watch at an affordable price. With all that said though, my feelings on it being maybe too common and too popular, the affordability, the materials, the functionality, is the A168 a watch that you definitely have to have in your collection? Well, I guess it depends. If you have the A158, this one may be redundant. If you have another retro digital watch from another brand like Timex or Armatron, then maybe this one is not for you. But if you're a collector that has to have just all the big watches, all the most popular, famous watches of all time, then yeah, the A168 is definitely one that you need to have in your watch box. As for me, it's really not my favorite. I would say when I first got the A158, I loved it. I thought it was really cool. It was cheap. It had a cool metal look to it. I could dress it up if I want to. But the more I wore it, the more I was like, this watch is a little bit too small. And that really carries over to the A168. It's not that much bigger than the A158. Keep in mind, I do have an entire video comparing those two models, but it's really not that big. It wears very small on my wrist. It almost looks like a kid's watch on my wrist, but you know, your mileage may vary. So I do like a lot of things about this watch, but another thing that I don't like is the dial is just way too busy. There are so many words going on here. I understand labeling the buttons, but do we really need to know that there's an alarm, a chronograph, it's water resistant? We need 2 reminders about the electroluminescent backlight, not 1, but 2 times? That's just a little bit too much. But like I said, the other varieties, they kind of dial that back a little bit. So, you know, for me, this particular silver A168, it's really not the watch for me. That being said, I think a lot of people like this watch. It's popular for a reason, not just the price tag. It does look slick. It's very lightweight. It tells the time, and you know, it's a conversation starter. This is a very affordable, some might say cheap, digital watch. It's got good functionality, although it doesn't have a countdown timer. It's very lightweight, it wears very small on my 7.5-inch wrist. I do appreciate the adjustable bracelet. It's not too difficult. You kind of got to lift up a metal flap and then just slide it down, kind of approximate your wrist size. It may take some trial and error, but I got it on the first try. In terms of functionality, there's really not a lot here other than the standard features. A stopwatch, the day and date, regular timekeeping mode, that little retro beep that comes every single hour, and an alarm. But I want to know your thoughts on the A168. Is it a watch that's part of your collection, or are you planning on adding it? Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the page for more watch and men's fashion content. I really appreciate you watching, bro. As always, I will see you next time, but for now, I'm out of here. It's time to go. Peace. What's good, bro? I'm Louis Gusto, and today I'll be reviewing the Casio Data Bank. The Casio CA53W-1 retails for $29.95 US and comes in the standard Casio watch packaging. That's a black plastic watch stand inside of a blue paperboard box with a white Casio paperboard slipcover. The case and the strap are made from a black resin and it has a buckle closure. The Casio Data Bank measures 43.2 millimeters lug to lug. It has a case width of 34.4 millimeters. The case is 8.2 millimeters thick and the watch weighs 25 grams. The crystal is a resin glass and there are 18, count them, 18 buttons on this watch, 2 on the side of the case and 16 on the face. The Casio Data Bank has an hourly time signal. It is water resistant, has a stopwatch, a daily alarm. It will tell you the world time. It has a full auto calendar as well as that famous 8-digit calculator. Starting in the upper left of the face, you've got the Casio word mark. Next to that in blue, water resist, alarm, chrono with the WR logo. The buttons are labeled adjust and mode/C. The LCD screen is smaller than most Casio watches, but gives you the time as well as the day. Below that, you've got the plethora of buttons that go from 0 to 9, a decimal point, equal sign, plus, minus, multiplication, and division symbols. The buttons also have secondary labels depending on which mode you are in. Now that we got the tech specs out of the way, let's see how the Casio Data Bank looks on the wrist. Casio Data Bank is an iconic watch. It's got a cool retro vintage look and it is the ultimate symbol of geekdom. It's been featured in movies and now that nerd culture is mainstream, this is the perfect watch to rock if you want to say that you're down with Back to the Future, Marty McFly, and Doc Brown. The buttons on the face make it extra easy to dial in the precise time and date, though you might need a toothpick or a stylus if you got fingers as big as mine. It's not exactly a TI-89, so I'll definitely be going to my phone when I really need those mathematical functions. That being said, I can't really see myself using the calculator function, though it is a cool conversation starter. Now, maybe in a pinch, if the phone died and I really need to calculate how much tip to give my server, or if I need to calculate the distance I'm going on the NYC subway, then yeah, I'll definitely use this calculator with the pinky finger. As always, I'll have an affiliate link in the description below in case you want to pick up a Casio data bank for yourself, and I'll see you next time. Peace. What's good, bro? I'm Louis Gusto, and today I'll be reviewing the Casio MRW 200H. The Casio MRW 200H-1BV retails for $29.95 and comes in the standard Casio watch packaging. That's a black plastic watch stand inside of a blue paperboard box with a white slipcover. The case, bezel, and strap are all made from a black resin, and the strap has a pin and buckle closure. The Casio MRW 200H measures 47.9 millimeters lug to lug, as a case width of 44.6 millimeters. The case is 11.6 millimeters thick, and the watch as a whole weighs 39 grams. The crystal is made from resin glass, and there's a crown at the 3 o'clock position. On the face of the watch, you got Arabic numerals from 1 to 12. Inside of that, 13 to 24 to indicate 24-hour time. Keep in mind though that the 3 and 15 are not there because of the day and date display. In the center of the face, you have the Casio word mark. Below that, quartz, and below the hands, you've got water resist 100 meters. This watch has a rotating bezel, features 100 meters of water resistance, and has a day and date display, which is bilingual, Spanish and English. And supposedly the hands and numerals have a lume, though I have yet to see that for myself. Now that we got the tech specs out of the way, let's check out how the Casio MRW 200H looks on the wrist. The Casio MRW 200H is an inexpensive entry-level dive watch which features that classic rotating bezel. Like many Casio watches, it's an inexpensive way to get into watch collecting. It does come in other colorways, but to me, the other colors made it look like a toy watch. With that said, this is the best one to me, and it is still kind of plain. I rocked this the other day in Flushing's Chinatown to eat some delicious Chinese food. It is comfortable and it has a classic look about it, but to me, it lacks features and it's kind of plain looking. I do enjoy that it has a bilingual day-date indicator and supposedly that it does have lume. The rotating bezel is a cool feature, but outside of that, there's really not much to this watch, so I'm not sure that this one is gonna stay in my collection. With that said, it still does have a charm about it, and I could see a watch like this growing on me if I did wear it more. All in all, I think it's still a cool watch, especially if you do want that inexpensive dive watch, and as always, I'll have an affiliate link in the description in case you want to pick up an MRW 200H for yourself, and I'll see you next time. Peace. It's one of the most famous dive watches of all time, but is this Casio a must-own? What's good, bro? I'm Louis Gusto. Welcome to another watch review. Today we're checking out this bad boy. It's the Casio MDV 106, aka the Casio Duro. We'll be checking out the materials, features, and how I feel about this watch. But before we get into any of that, make sure you finesse that like button, subscribe for more videos just like this, and drop a comment below. What's your favorite Casio watch? The Casio MDV 106B-1A1V retails for $74.95 and comes in standard Casio watch packaging. That's a white paperboard slipcover with the blue Casio word mark over a blue paperboard box with white Casio word mark. Inside you'll find the watch on a black plastic watch stand with cardboard label and the instruction manual. The case and bezel are made from stainless steel and aluminum. It's got a stainless steel back as well as a resin strap with stainless steel pin and buckle closure. The MDV 106 measures 49.5 millimeters lug to lug. It's got a case width of 46.3 millimeters, a case thickness of 12.1 millimeters, and the watch weighs a whopping 92 grams. The watch crystal is made from mineral glass. It's got a stainless steel screw lock back as well as a screw lock crown. The case also features an anti-reverse rotating bezel. And now let's take a closer look at the watch face, starting with that rotating bezel. At the 12 o'clock position is a triangular wedge with a lume circle. At the multiples of 5, there are large ticks, minute ticks up to 15, and every 10 is an Arabic numeral, starting at 10 and going all the way to 50. Beneath that mineral glass is a sloping chapter ring with minute ticks. There are applied indices here at the 12 o'clock position, dual wedges, a square at the 3 o'clock position, rectangles at the 6 and 9 o'clock position, and everything else is a circular index. The watch features a black sunburst dial with Casio word mark, an arrow hour and second hand, as well as a dagger minute hand. At the 3 o'clock position, you have the date box surrounded by a white square, and below the hands, you have that famous Marlin logo with the WR 200 meters, and at the 6 o'clock position, if you squint really hard, you can see the Japan movement wording. The hour, minute, and second hand, as well as every hour index, features applied lume, and it looks amazing. And now let's talk about the features of this watch. Like I mentioned, it does have an anti-reverse rotating bezel which clicks and it's very satisfying. Applied lume at all the important positions. A screw lock crown, you just have to unscrew it and pull it out in order to adjust the time. In order to adjust the date, you gotta go 1 full day. And of course, being a dive watch, it is water resistant up to 200 meters. Now that we got the features and tech specs out of the way, let's check out how the Casio Duro looks on my 7.5-inch wrist. So once again, we're checking out one of the most iconic watches of all time, the Casio MDV 106, aka Casio Duro, or Duro, or however you want to pronounce it. This is an essential diver's watch. And even though it retails for $74.95, you can frequently find it for much cheaper, like $50 on sites like Amazon. As a matter of fact, I will have an affiliate link in the description below in case you want to add this watch to your collection. It comes in a variety of colors. I chose the black dial with the Batman bezel, that's black and blue. It also comes in other color combinations, including red, blue, teal, but I felt like this one represented my personal style the best. Wearing this watch, I really can't believe I got it for such an inexpensive price. It feels like a much more expensive, luxurious watch. It just blows my mind that a watch like this can be on your wrist for less than $75. The materials are sturdy. You've got stainless steel, aluminum, mineral glass, and even though that band is made out of resin, it doesn't feel cheap. It's very comfortable and wears very well on my 7.5-inch wrist. The watch is not too big, it's not too small. The rotating bezel is a nice touch. Probably something I'm never really gonna practically use, but I love hearing those clicks. I guess being able to rotate that bezel is sort of having like a fidget spinner on your wrist. I have other watches in my collection with applied lume, but the lume on the Casio Duro just looks absolutely phenomenal. In a dark room, you can see it nice and bright. So far on this channel, we've taken a look at a lot of Casio watches. Some digital, some analog, some cheap, some expensive. For my money, this is one of the best value Casio watches that you can own. Even though it comes in at around $50 on most sites, it does not feel cheap, does not look inexpensive. It's a fine watch to have in your collection. It's gonna be water resistant and it's gonna hold up to a lot of things that you can throw on this watch. Even though it is a tool watch, it can be worn for a variety of occasions, to the office, to a nice restaurant, an expensive date, an important interview, a museum gallery opening, really anything except cleaning up around the house or to the gym. I knew the Casio Duro was a famous watch, so I was already hyped to review this on the channel, but I really didn't know how much I would truly love this watch until I put it on my wrist. It's instantly become one of my favorites and a welcome addition to my growing collection. I have seen that they made a newer version of this watch without the Marlin logo and with a smaller case size, so I'm glad I was able to get my hands on this one. I'm not sure if they discontinued it or not, because I still see it available on the Casio website, but maybe I was just looking at the wrong page. This particular model has a simple color scheme with a black dial and a black and blue bezel, but I don't think it looks plain by any stretch of the imagination. The indices are fun to look at. The rotating bezel is also a cool addition. The resin strap is comfortable, it looks nice. It's a watch that you can dress up or be casual in. And even if I were to nitpick about this watch, I can't really find anything that I dislike. The Casio word mark on the dial would be maybe something I wouldn't like, but here it's minimal and it doesn't really interfere with the design. The Marlin logo is cool, the applied indices, the arrow hands, the rotating bezel, The color scheme, the resin strap, everything really comes together, and for under $75, I cannot believe this is a watch that's just so affordable. In my opinion, this is an essential watch to have in your collection, especially if you're a Casio or dive watch fan. I don't really know if it's suitable for professional divers. I have to look more into that one, but really anybody else would be lucky to have this one in their collection. I would definitely try to go for this bigger model with the Marlin logo, even though there are other options available. And in terms of affordable Casio watches, it's a huge step up from those digital watches that we've talked about before. Coming in at around $50 on a site like Amazon, I definitely think you can't miss on this watch. I really haven't seen a whole lot of people wearing this watch around NYC as opposed to A158s, 168s, and Casio F91Ws. Because it does come in a few different colors, I think you could pick one that suits your personal style the best. It is also available with a stainless steel bracelet, but personally I think it looks better with the resin strap, but your opinion might vary. It is hands down one of the greatest watches that I've reviewed so far on this channel. It comes in at a great weight, not too heavy, not too light, made of good materials. It's accurate, it's gonna last a very long time. It's comfortable, it looks nice, it can be paired with a variety of different types of outfits. It's gonna be a great conversation starter. And overall, like I said, I think it's one that you definitely have to have in your collection. But I wanna know your thoughts on the Casio Duro, AKA MDV 106. Is it a watch that you have in your collection, or are you planning on adding it? Which one? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you watching, bro, and I will see you next time. But for now, I'm out of here. Peace. What's good, bro? I'm Louis Gusto, and today I'll be reviewing the Casio F91W. The Casio F91W-1 retails for $22.95 and comes in the standard Casio watch packaging. That's a black plastic watch stand inside of a blue paperboard box with a white paperboard slipcover, all with the Casio branding. The case and bezel are made from a black resin, and it has a black resin strap with a buckle closure. The F91W measures 38.2 millimeters lug to lug. It has a case width of 35.2 millimeters. The case is 8.5 millimeters thick. The watch weighs 21 grams. There are 3 buttons on the case, and the crystal is made of resin glass. The Casio F91W face has a thick blue outer outline. Inside that is a thinner gold outline. Starting at the upper left of the face, you've got the Casio word mark. Next to that, the F91W branding. The buttons are all labeled: light, mode, and alarm on off / 24 hours. You got the alarm chronograph labels. At the bottom of the face is the water resist, complete with the WR red logo. On the LCD screen, you've got the alarm indicator, the hourly chime. Whether or not you're in 24-hour mode, you got the day, the date, as well as the hours, minutes, and seconds, all displayed digitally on the LCD screen. The Casio F91W is water resistant, and besides telling you the time in 12 or 24-hour mode, it has a stopwatch, a countdown timer, a daily alarm, an hourly chime which you can turn on and off, as well as an LED backlight. It's also got a full auto calendar set to 28 days for February, so just keep in mind, in a leap year, you'll have to do some manual adjusting. Now that we got the tech specs out of the way, let's see how the Casio F91W looks on the wrist. Recently decided to get back into watch collecting after wearing the Apple Watch for several years. I just got to a point where I felt like it was not necessary and it wasn't really expressing who I was. It was difficult to change out the straps. The straps themselves were very expensive, more than most Casio watches in fact. So I sold the Apple Watch and got myself a Casio F91W. Now I had no idea about the history of this watch or the fan following, anything like that. I just liked how it had a retro look and it was relatively inexpensive. It is kind of cheap looking, so don't expect to wear this to like a fancy dinner or anything like that. It's lightweight and sometimes it doesn't even feel like you're wearing a watch. The thinness of the case helps it to fit under most sleeves, and it also fits underneath my workout gloves, which have wrist supports. The backlight is pretty weak and it doesn't actually serve any function except looking cool and giving you a retro vibe. The whole thing reminds me of video games with that digital display, and I find myself looking down at my wrist several times a day whenever I'm wearing this watch. It does come in different colors, and as a matter of fact, I got my girlfriend the pink F91W, and we've been rocking these as our daily watches for the past several weeks. I try to use as much of the functionality as possible, so I have that daily alarm set. When I go to the gym, I use the stopwatch to time my workouts. I have the hourly chime turned on because I enjoy that hourly beep. My dog does too, incidentally enough. I haven't yet worn it in the shower, but I have bathed my dog and washed dishes daily wearing this watch. It's gotten splashed and there have been no issues at all. Similarly, I wear it to the gym. It hasn't really gotten banged around, but with an inexpensive watch like this, you don't have to worry about a weight accidentally falling on the watch face. Wearing this around New York City for the past several weeks, it's been a conversation starter. I've had cool combos with other dudes wearing watches, and they also recognize the collectability and retro charm of the F91W. Now, as my collection grows, obviously, I'm not gonna be wearing this quite as much as I am now, but I definitely can see myself pulling it out from time to time, whether it's to show friends and family or if I'm just in that mood to rock the F91W and just show it off around the city. As always, I have an affiliate link in the description in case you want to pick an F91W up for yourself, and I will see you next time. Peace. What's good, YouTube? I'm Louis Gusto, and today I'll be reviewing the Casio Forester. The Casio FT500WC-5BV retails for $35.95 and comes in standard Casio watch packaging. That's a black plastic watch stand inside of a blue paperboard box with a white slip cover. The Casio Forester features a resin case and bezel. It has a nylon strap with leather accents and a Velcro closure. The Forester measures 43.9 millimeters lug to lug. It has a case width of 41.5 millimeters. It is 12.6 millimeters thick, and the watch weighs 31 grams. The crystal is made from resin and spherical glass. There's a light button at the 3 o'clock position, as well as a crown right underneath the button. On the bezel of this watch, you'll see the Forester word mark. At the bottom, the tree logo. The light button is labeled as such. Inside, you've got the minute ticks, Arabic numerals from 1 to 12. Inside of that, you have the 24-hour markings from 13 to 24 in red. Instead of a 3, you've got the date indicator. In the center of the face, you'll find the Casio word mark. Below that, the Illuminator branding, and underneath the hands, the water resist 100 meters. The watch features 100 meters of water resistance. It has a date indicator as well as an LED light that comes in from the bottom. Now that we got the tech specs out of the way, let's check out how the Casio Forester looks on wrist. Some of the first thoughts I had when looking at the Casio Forester are Boy Scouts, the Woods, or Grandpa watch. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It definitely has a classic, iconic look to it, especially with those leather accents on the strap. It does come in a couple of other colorways, but I thought the brown accents looked the most classic. This is an inexpensive field watch, something you could take on a safari without worrying about an elephant smashing it, and you could wear it in Times Square. I really like the leather accents on the strap. It classes it up a bit. I'm not so sure about the Velcro closure. It works fine now, but after wearing it a bunch of times, I'm not sure how that'll hold up long term. That Velcro strap also kind of reminds me of kids' gym shoes, so I'm not the biggest fan of it. I did see a YouTube video where somebody changed out the strap, so I might look into doing this for this watch. So that would be a cool way to make it a little bit more expensive looking. Like many Casio watches, it's an inexpensive way to get into watch collecting. I like how the light comes in from the bottom. It sort of looks like a little fire in the forest. No matter what expedition, the Casio Forester is sure to look nice on your wrist. As always, I got an affiliate link in the description in case you want to pick up a Casio Forester for yourself. And I'll see you next time. Peace and blessings. What's good, bro? I'm Louis Gusto, and today I'll be reviewing the Casio AE1200WH, aka the Casio Royale. The Casio AE1200WH-1A retails for $29.95 and comes in standard Casio watch packaging. That's a black plastic watch stand with instructions, a blue paperboard box, and a white slipcover. The case and strap are made from a black resin, and the strap features a pin and buckle closure. The watch measures 45mm lug to lug. It has a case width of 42.1mm. The case is 12.5mm thick, and the watch weighs 39 grams. There are 4 buttons, aka pushers, on the case, and the crystal is a resin glass. The top of the watch face reads World Time. At the bottom, you have Illuminator. Looking at the face, starting in the upper left, says 5 alarms. Next to that, you've got the Casio word mark. All 4 buttons are labeled Mode, Adjust, Light, and Search. Back in the upper left of the face, there's an LCD screen, which is a digital representation of an analog clock. All the way in the upper right-hand corner, there's an LCD screen, which will tell you if the mute function is on or off, as well as the alarm. Below that, you've got that famous world map with your home time zone indicated. And below that, you've got the day, the month, and the date, as well as the time. And finally, you've got the 10-year battery words in red. The Casio AE1200WH, aka Casio Royale, has a laundry list of features, starting with that world time. You could set your 3 favorite cities as well as your home city. You can easily swap between your favorite world city and your home with the push of a button. It has 5 daily or one-time alarms, an hourly chime, stopwatch, countdown timer, an LED backlight, as well as a full auto calendar and 100 meters of water resistance. The world time features 31 time zones with 48 cities, as well as daylight savings time. All for $30, that's a lot of features. Now that we got the tech specs out of the way, let's see how the Casio Royale looks on the wrist. The Casio Royale is what I would consider to be a viral watch. It definitely has a lot of fame on the internet. So many reviews have been done, and of course it's based on the watch that James Bond wore in Casino Royale, which was a Seiko, and in my opinion, didn't look as cool as this one. Now, I don't like all the words on the face of the watch. I think it would look a little sleeker if they removed some of those. And I've seen that people are modding these watches, but it's not really something I'm interested in for a $30 watch. I think the world map makes it look really cool. The big time display with the day, the date, and the month, bring it all together. All the time zones on there, the alarms, the stopwatch, the countdown timer, the LED light. It just makes it such a great watch for $30. Like many Casio watches, it's an inexpensive way to get into collecting and definitely a conversation starter, especially if you're at a James Bond convention. Now, if you are filming some kind of spy short film, this would be a perfect watch to pick up for wardrobe to have your lead wear. It is available in other colors, but I preferred this one, and that's why I picked up the black one. If you want to pick up one for yourself, I'll have an affiliate link in description, and I'll see you next time. Peace. This is an affordable Casio digital watch with a retro 90s inspired design, but should you add it to your collection? What's good, bro? I'm Louis Gusto. Welcome to another watch review. Today we're checking out this bad boy. It's the Casio WS1600. We'll get into the materials, measurements, and my personal thoughts on this digital watch. But before we get into any of that, make sure you finesse that like button and subscribe for more men's fashion and watch content. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you drop a comment if you own this watch, and in case you want to add it to your collection, I will have an affiliate link in the description below. The Casio WS1600H-1AV retails for $29.95. It comes in standard Casio watch packaging. That's a white paperboard slipcover over a blue paperboard box with the Casio word mark. Inside you'll find the watch on a black plastic watch stand, complete with instruction manual. The WS1600 is an all resin digital watch. It comes in a variety of colors, but this particular model has a black resin case, black resin strap with pin and buckle closure, and resin glass. The Casio WS1600 measures 45 millimeters lug to lug. It's got a case width of 42.1 millimeters, a case thickness of 12.5 millimeters, and the watch weighs 39 grams. The watch crystal is made from resin glass. It's got a stainless steel back and 4 buttons, aka pushers, 2 on either side of the case. And now let's take a closer look at the watch face. The WS1600 features an octagonal design. Around that resin glass, you have a resin bezel, above which you have the Illuminator branding, and below which you have the 10-year battery label. Beneath that resin glass, you've got a lot going on. We'll start with the main LCD screen with the time, the day of the week, the month, and the date. Below that, you have the WR logo as well as the alarm and chrono labels. Just above that, you have the countdown timer wording in red, and above that, you have 3 more LCD screens, 2 bars and a circle. In the main timekeeping mode, those keep track of the seconds, and they have different functionality depending on whether you're using the stopwatch or the countdown timer. Around the LCD screens, you've got a black dial, of course, the Casio branding at the very top. Next to that, the WR 100 meters, and all 4 buttons are labeled: mode, light, start, and adjust. Like I said before, there's so much going on this watch face in terms of wording that I don't think there's any need ever to bust out the instructions. In terms of features, the WS1600 is going to feature pretty much everything you could want in a cheap, affordable digital watch. Starting with the main timekeeping mode in 12 or 24-hour mode, it's going to be very accurate. You got the day of the week, the month, the date, a stopwatch with various lap functionality, a countdown timer, interval, daily alarm, world time, many different time zones. I forget how many exactly. You got 2 times, so you can program your favorite time zone outside of where you currently live. If you're traveling, this is perfect. For example, I live in New York City, but I frequently travel to Paris, London, and Los Angeles, so it's really great that I can program a second time zone on this watch. There's a daily alarm, an hourly chime signal, there's a full auto calendar, and an LED backlight. Now that we got the tech specs out the way, let's check out how the Casio WS1600 looks on my 7.5-inch wrist. And here we go with yet another affordable, cheap Casio digital watch. The WS1600 is packing a lot of features. Pretty much everything you could want in a digital watch at this price point. And in fact, it has a lot more than other similar watches that you're gonna pay the same price for. Like I mentioned, it does come in a variety of colors. This is the black resin model. There's a lot going on here. First of all, it wears very big on my 7.5-inch wrist. I like that. I have other Casio digital watches and they're quite small compared to this one. But even with that larger size, it's lightweight, and I credit that to the resin materials. So it's not constructed of the finest materials on earth, but that's kind of what brings it down to the affordable price tag. It does retail for $29.95, but you can frequently find it for much cheaper than that. In fact, I will have an affiliate link in the description in case you want to add it to your collection. This is a perfect sports watch. It's inspired by retro 1990s watches. In fact, I read somewhere that soccer referees use this around the world to keep time. That stopwatch is quite complicated. Way more complex than any other digital watch in my collection. If you're a chronograph nerd, then this is the watch for you. You've got intervals, you've got 2 bars that help you keep track of 5-second bursts and 10-second bursts. You've got lap functionality, first and second place. I mean, there's just so much going on with this stopwatch. I'm surprised it still tells time and gives you the day of the week. It's got a nice LED backlight, not quite the Illuminator, but still, it's gonna get the job done. The display is big. Of course, the watch face itself is big. And there's a lot going on here. A lot of words: chrono, alarm, countdown timer, Casio, WR. There's so much going on. All the buttons are labeled. It's funny that it even comes with an instruction manual, because really, you're not gonna need it unless you are completely new to digital watches. For my taste, there's just way too much going on. I don't think that it needs to be labeled that it's a 10-year battery, because once you buy it, say you've had it for 5 years, it's no longer a 10-year battery. And also, other than the Casio word mark and maybe 1 or 2 labels on the buttons, do we really need to know every time we look at the watch that it has a countdown timer, an alarm, a chrono, that it's water resistant? It tells you not once, but 2 times that it's resistant to water. Once is enough, bro. It also lets you know that it has an illuminator, but also the light button is labeled. So do you really need it 2 times? There's just way too many words going on here. I like simplicity in my digital watches unless it's explicitly necessary to have more than one word on there. This is a watch that even though you can buy it for under $30, it doesn't look cheap, nor does it feel cheap. Even though it's constructed of resin, it's super lightweight, it feels solid on my wrist. I know that it's gonna hold up. This is a watch that I would definitely rock to the gym. I wouldn't be afraid because if it gets scratched up, hey, the screen is big enough that I'm still gonna be able to see what's going on. It's a good watch for running errands, cleaning up around the house, washing dishes, maybe playing any sport from basketball, running, whatever. Like if you need a stopwatch at all on your wrist, this is maybe the one for you. When I launched this channel, I started with a review of the Casio F91W. That's a very iconic yet simple digital watch. It's quite small, quite lightweight, and very affordable. The WS1600 is certainly a step above that, so if you're comparing the two, this might be the one to go with. It wears a lot larger, it's got nice buttons, good display, great functionality, a very nice LED illuminator. I like the shape of this watch. The buttons are easy to push. It's very simple to adjust this watch. It took me not more than 30 seconds to set the correct time, day of the week, month, and date. Like I mentioned, I appreciate that it has world time. That's something, again, that you're not gonna see in a lot of digital watches around this price point. Casio packed a lot into this watch, and I think it shows because it's one of the more popular models. I would say the most unique thing about this watch, and maybe my favorite part of it, is the 2 bars and the circle above the main time. Just staring at the watch face and seeing the bars light up in various ways as the seconds tick away, it's really cool. It's entertaining, really. It's a way to get a little bit of fun out of your cheap digital watch without going full smartwatch. I will admit that when I first put this watch on my wrist, I couldn't quite figure out the stopwatch. I didn't know how to stop it or reset it, and I think I figured it out, but I'm not 100% sure that I know exactly how the stopwatch works, which makes sense. I mean, for me, when I use a stopwatch, I just need the simplicity, start and stop. I don't need laps, I don't need first place, I don't need intervals or anything like that. But again, if that's something that you need, if you're a referee, if you're playing a sport or running track or whatever, anything that you need interval times or first and second place, hey, this is a good one for you. At under 30 bucks, it's affordable, it's sporty, it doesn't look cheap. And even though I wouldn't necessarily wear it to a nice dinner or a great museum or, around traveling and stuff like that, I think it's a good gym watch. I think it's a good starter watch. It's a nice one to have in your collection. Another great aspect of this watch is that it's very legible. The LCD screen showing the time, the day, and the date is very big, easy to read. Light will help you out once the sun goes down. This is a great Casio digital watch with a unique design, a lot of cool features. It comes in at a very affordable price. If I had to nitpick something about this watch, it's just way too busy on the face. I love the design, I love the bezel, but there are just too many words here. I don't need the 10-year battery. I don't need 2 reminders that it has an illuminator light. I don't need 2 reminders that it's water resistant. I don't need to be reminded every single time I look at the face that it has a countdown timer. The buttons being labeled, I can live with it, but I wish they were a little bit sleeker. Really, with a couple of tweaks, I think a customization of this watch could look very nice, but for a $30 watch, I really don't think it's worth it. But all in all, it's gonna be a reliable watch, super accurate. It's Casio, so you know it's gonna last you a long time. It's gonna be a decade before you have to replace that battery, but I guess we'll see. Only time will tell. But I wanna know your thoughts on this watch. Is it in your collection? Are you planning on adding it? As always, I appreciate you watching, bro, and I will see you next time. But for now, I'm out of here. Peace.